Are you too hard or are you too soft? Who is the yin to your yang? I'm your host, Eric Brown, and with me, Mr. Mike Jones is in the house. Yeah. How are you today?
Oh, man, I'm awesome. Come on, man. I love this subject. Yin, yang. You got to put it all together, man. Too hard, too soft. What's up?
I think that Eric's had a little bit too much to drink, y'all. But we're
No, man.
going to move forward because this is an incredible subject. And I'm really going to ask that you listen with the intent to be influenced because you absolutely will benefit from this. So it was just a couple of weeks ago, we were in Dallas conducting one of our Master Graduate Leadership Program. It's the 4-day all-inclusive program where people get to come and spend 4 days with us in a retreat format. And while I was there, one of our clients who had been through our program, her son was playing a high school football game that Friday night. She asked if I would come and speak to the team on Friday morning, which was their game day, and because they were going through some adversity. And I absolutely agreed to do it. Just remembering when my boys were in school and playing football, I went and spoke to those football teams all the time, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I absolutely went over, had this conversation with these young men, and I was absolutely inspired as a result of that interaction with them to speak on this subject. So I absolutely am going to dedicate this to that high school and to the young man by the name of Harris, whom I was there for based upon the invitation from his mom. Now, first of all, as Eric was saying a moment ago, and I guess we'll dive a little deeper, in ancient Chinese philosophy, there is something that was called Yin and Yang. Now, it is a concept of dualism, describing how seemingly opposite or contrary forces may actually be complementary of each other. So let's conduct a virtual experiment. I want you to visualize yourself on the top of a 10-story building, and you have a 50-pound ball of concrete. You drop that ball to the street or to the ground. What happens to that ball if you can visualize that? Absolutely. It just crushes, it crumbles, it breaks apart. So in this experiment, on the top of that same 10-story building, if you take a ball that is a mixture of hard and soft, and you drop that to the ground from this 10-story building, what you will observe is that it will bounce. It has resilience. It is a mixture of hard and soft. Now, in the context of yin and yang, that hard and soft creates what we're going to refer to as resilience or bounce. Now, I know that in 2024, with everything that is going on in our world today, in our country, that this is going to be a little touchy subject. But I want you to contextualize it around the subject in which we are speaking. I want every man out there to know that there is a mixture of male hormones in your body and female hormones in your body. I want every female out there to know. Science has proven it. Go Google it. Go look it up. There are female hormones in your body and there are male hormones in your body. This mixture of hard and soft creates an opportunity for you to be resilient. If you are too hard, however, you are too rigid. When you fall, you will crumble much like that 50-pound rock. If you are too soft, what you will find, when you fall, you will splatter and be hurt as a result of what is going on in your life. So when there is that mixture of hard and soft, it creates the bounce or resilience. If hard is your strength, when you overuse that strength, then that is when you're going to be damaged or do a whole lot of damage to the people in your life. Because there are times where you need to be soft. If you are too soft, if you overuse your soft, then you are going to be the person that gets taken advantage of, and you are going to be hurt, and you're going to absolutely have a hard time recovering from that if you are too soft. If you overuse the strength of soft, then it is absolutely going to be overused. And as a result of that, it is not going to produce a positive outcome. Now, I've often heard people say, and I've often said to myself, when you are going through hell, don't bounce back, bounce forward. Because people are always giving you advice to bounce back. My coaching to you today is to not bounce back, but to bounce forward. Being resilient in the context of this conversation means bouncing forward.
Man, Mike, this really resonates with me. And I've heard you say that everything that happens to me also happened for me. And going through a recent divorce, that is an example that I can give, because I was questioning what's best for my kids, staying in the moment and being in that relationship, or moving past that relationship and being the true me. Now, after dropping my kids off at school and having the teacher say, wow, what a difference the kids are when you drop them off versus my ex, I know that the choice was there, and persevering through that was absolutely one of the best things that I could have ever done.
Yeah, that's a great example, Eric, because I know that there are a lot of people out there that have gone through divorces and being resilient as a result of going through that very tough journey is something that will benefit everyone. So being resilient means never seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance. Resilient allows you to bounce forward when life shoots you down. There are so many ways that we are experiencing life that could absolutely tear us apart, crush us, or put us into some negative situations. What would you do if your home was completely destroyed by a hurricane, something that is completely out of your control, a tornado, or a forest fire? There are people in this present moment that have experienced those things, and whether they got bitter or whether they got better was based upon their ability to bounce forward, to absolutely move on in the context of what they could control. What would you do if you had lost your business or your job during the pandemic or some other circumstance beyond your control? If you absolutely got crushed by it, it was because you were either too soft or too hard. I'm absolutely encouraging you to take a look at how you can be more resilient by taking advantage of the yin and yang that is a natural part of your situation. Now, what would you do if someone you knew very closely was lost unexpectedly? All of these unforeseen circumstances are occurring in this moment somewhere in the world. They are circumstances that we have no control over. However, being resilient gives us an opportunity to bounce forward from any circumstance.
Yeah, so Mike, what you're saying then is that a circumstance is a circumstance. It's really about how you deal with that and whether you are being too hard or too soft in that situation.
Absolutely. And there are going to be circumstances, as we just talked about, that are absolutely going to be outside of your control. We have got to understand that what we do control is how we react or we respond to whatever is going on. Resilient people, y'all, are not afraid to acknowledge their fears and their concerns. However, they do not allow those fears and concerns to control or immobilize them. Resilient people are not afraid to ask for help. If you're one of those people that are really hard, I'm saying to you that it's okay, grown people, to ask for help. It does not make you weak. Resilient people understand that winners lose more often than losers lose. Resilient people know that failure is not fatal. If you bounce back, failure may be fatal. If you bounce forward, failure is not fatal. Resilient people do not seek validation from others to determine their success. They define their success on their own terms. I don't know what you've been through, but I know you've been through something. I don't know what you've been through, but if you haven't been through anything, it's coming somewhere down the line, y'all, because at some point we are all going to deal with adversity in our lives. Rather than listening to the advice of those who are encouraging you to bounce back, my coaching to you is to bounce forward. I encourage you to accept and embrace the unpredictability of life and the pain and the adversity that it will sometime bring. Because I absolutely know that when you make the choice to bounce forward, the reward of resiliency is priceless.
Well, you heard it here first. A circumstance is a circumstance. How are you responding to those circumstances in your life?
And I guarantee you, if you get out on that edge, baby, you are absolutely going to respond in such a way that will allow you to bounce forward. So live your life on the edge, because if you're not out on that edge, you're taking up far too much room. Here we go.